Good morning. This is the Rundown today, June 8th, and this is Immigration in Focus. Tonight, a sweeping travel ban, escalating ICE raids, sanctuary state resistance, and the real lives caught in the crossfire. Let's begin with the biggest headline of the day. New travel ban. On June 4th, former President Trump signed a sweeping travel ban, full restrictions on 12 countries and partial limits on 7 more, based on national security and vetting concerns. It takes effect June 9th. SOT, White House spokesman. "We don't want them," said the administration, citing risks of terrorism and visa overstays. The new ban applies only to individuals outside the U.S. Legal residents and current visa holders are exempt. Critics argue it echoes the Muslim ban of 2017 and question the evidence linking these nations to security threats. ICE raids and LA protests. In Los Angeles, ICE raids this weekend led to the arrest of 45 migrants, sparking mass protests and violent clashes. Protesters blocked federal buildings and hurled objects at agents. Local police responded with tear gas and flashbangs. SOT, LA council member. "This is an assault on our community," said Los Angeles council member, denouncing the raids. Anchor. In response, President Trump federalized the California National Guard, deploying 2,000 troops to restore order, with active duty Marines on standby. Mayor Bass and Governor Newsom condemned the move, calling it escalation and a tactic to inflame tension. Federal versus state showdown. These raids come amid a broader clash between the federal government and sanctuary cities. SOTDHS Secretary Kristi Noem. "We are restoring law and order at the border and beyond," she declared. Secretary Noem has ramped up deportations, restarted border wall construction, and ended humanitarian parole programs. But 7 Democratic-led states, including California, Illinois, and Oregon, have passed new laws to protect immigrants, restricting local cooperation with ICE and guaranteeing access to legal aid. These state-federal clashes are expected to reach the Supreme Court, potentially reshaping sanctuary law dynamics. Policy spotlight, Laken-Riley Act. Congress has also sent a landmark immigration bill to the president's desk. The Laken-Riley Act, passed in January, requires mandatory detention of undocumented immigrants charged with theft, assault on police, or causing serious bodily injury. Supporters say it addresses safety concerns. Critics fear it will clog the legal system and lead to over-detention. Humanity at the border. Amid the turmoil are families like Marta Hernandez's, a Honduran mother who arrived in Texas with her 2 small children. They're now detained, waiting days for a court date, and have seen no daylight since arrival, interviewed in Texas. Meanwhile, 60,000 migrants are currently held in CBP and IC facilities, as immigration courts face a backlog of nearly 3 million cases, the highest in U.S. history. The human toll is mounting. Mental health concerns, family separations, and legal uncertainty loom large. Global context. Beyond U.S. borders, immigration turmoil is spreading. Europe is tightening entry rules on refugees from Sudan and Gaza. Canada has reduced immigrant intake targets, citing housing strains. Latin America continues to see major departures from Haiti, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. This reflects a global trend. Migration is increasing even as policy becomes more restrictive. What's next? Here's what to expect in the coming days. 1. June 9th, the new travel ban kicks in. Expect airport protests and legal injunctions. 2. Class action lawsuits are already filed by civil rights groups and state attorneys general, challenging both the ban and expanded raids. 3. The Supreme Court may soon rule on sanctuary cities, fast-track asylum procedures, and DACA protections, decisions that could reshape U.S. immigration policy for decades. That's it for this morning's Immigration in Focus. From sweeping bans to tense breakdowns at the border and courtroom brinkmanship over federal powers, it's a pivotal moment in U.S. immigration history. This is Finance, where we break down the most important headlines in business, markets, and the economy. It's June 8th, 2025, and here's what's moving the financial world today. Markets and economy. Wall Street ended the week on a cautious but positive note. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ notched modest gains on Friday, buoyed by a better-than-expected jobs report and investor optimism over the Federal Reserve's next move. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.6%, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 0.8%, its fifth straight weekly advance. Now let's talk about the jobs numbers. The U.S. added 198,000 jobs in May, beating analysts' expectations. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.9%, signaling resilience in the labor market, even as high interest rates continue to weigh on sectors like construction and manufacturing. FedWatch. All eyes are on the Federal Reserve, which is set to meet later this month. Although inflation is down from its 2022 peak, it remains stubbornly above the 2% target, sitting at 2.8% year over year. Markets are pricing in a possible rate cut in September, but Fed Chair Jerome Powell has emphasized the need for more data before making a move. Corporate Roundup. In corporate news, let's start with big tech. Apple shares rose after announcing a major AI partnership with OpenAI, integrating ChatGPT across its operating systems. Investors cheered the move, which could re-energize iPhone sales and give Apple a firmer foothold in generative AI. Meanwhile, NVIDIA continues its monster run. The chipmaker's stock is up over 140% year-to-date, fueled by surging demand for AI-related hardware. NVIDIA's market cap now exceeds $3.2 trillion, briefly overtaking Microsoft as the most valuable company in the world. Retail check-in, Target and Walmart reported earnings this week, and it's a mixed picture. Walmart beat expectations, driven by strong grocery and e-commerce sales. Target, on the other hand, missed its revenue goals and cut its full-year outlook, citing inflation-weary shoppers and weak discretionary spending. Layoffs watch. Salesforce announced it will lay off 8% of its global workforce, about 7,000 employees, citing restructuring efforts. This adds to the broader wave of tech layoffs this year, which has now topped 250,000 jobs globally. Global finance, turning to the international scene. In Europe, the European Central Bank held interest rates steady, but signaled potential cuts as early as July. The Eurozone economy is showing slow but positive growth, and inflation is easing across major markets like Germany and France. In Asia, China announced a new stimulus package worth $140 billion US dollars to boost domestic consumption and support struggling property developers. Chinese markets responded positively, with the Shanghai Composite climbing 2.3% on the news. Commodities check. Oil prices remain volatile, with WTI crude trading around $74 a barrel as markets assess OPEC plus production cuts and global demand. Gold remains above $2,300 per ounce, benefiting from safe haven demand amid geopolitical tensions and uncertainty around central bank policy. Personal finance brief. Let's shift gears to your money. Mortgage rates have fallen slightly, with the average 30-year fixed rate now at 6.65%, down from last month's peak of 6.85%. This offers slight relief to homebuyers, but affordability remains a major challenge in many U.S. cities. Credit card delinquencies are rising, now at their highest levels since 2020. Analysts say consumers are feeling the pinch of inflation and higher borrowing costs. If you're carrying a balance, now might be a good time to explore lower interest personal loans or balance transfer options. Crypto Corner. Bitcoin is trading around $67,000 after rebounding from last week's dip. Ethereum is holding steady at $3,500, and market sentiment is cautious ahead of pending regulatory decisions in the U.S. and Europe. Now here's everything you need to know about what's happening in Hollywood right now. 1. Tony Awards 2025. Kicking off with Broadway's biggest night, the 78th Annual Tony Awards are lighting up Radio City Music Hall, hosted by the multi-talented Cynthia Erivo. The most buzzworthy moment? A reunion of the original Hamilton cast? Yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Leslie Odom Jr. and more, taking the stage once again to celebrate the show's 10-year legacy. Winning big tonight? Best Musical Revival, Spring Awakening, Best Lead Actress. Ariana DeBose for Celestial Bodies. And of course, the red carpet didn't disappoint. Think couture meets charisma, Zendaya in Valentino, and Billy Porter in a custom sequin cape. We'll have the full fashion recap later. 2. Miley Cyrus's surprise moment, 1.5 minutes. Now on to someone who always makes headlines, Miley Cyrus. At the Tribeca premiere of her documentary Something Beautiful, Miley faced a crowd that was expecting a concert, not a film. Things got tense, but Miley handled it like a pro, calming the room with a surprise a cappella performance of The Climb. He did have she stand up with Holly Teller's Rome line stage. And terms to tense to Mormont, she also opened up about Ranki's edema, a vocal cord condition that's kept her off tour. The documentary dives into her life post-touring, finding peace in stillness, and redefining fame on her own terms. 3. Upcoming summer blockbusters. It's going to be a hot summer, and not just because of the weather. Here are the top movies hitting screens this month. Ballerina, John Wick spin-off, starring Ana de Armas. How to Train Your Dragon, live action, featuring newcomer Nico Parker and Mason Thames. Elio, Pixar's latest animated adventure. F1, the movie. Brad Pitt returns to the fast lane in Ironheart, Marvel's newest hero in her own story. Nico Parker recently spoke about growing up with famous parents, Thandiwe Newton and Ole Parker, saying they taught her to stay grounded and kind, a refreshing voice in the rising Gen Z celebrity space. 4. What to watch right now. If theaters aren't your thing, don't worry. Streaming has you covered. Now trending on streaming. Ginny and Georgia Season 3, Netflix. The drama is back, with bigger secrets and deeper twists. Phineas and Ferb revival. Disney+. Yep, our favorite duo is back for summer fun. Bridgerton Season 4 teasers. Lady Whistledown is spilling some bold predictions for the finale. Snow White live action hits Geo Cinema on June 11th in India with Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. Expect reimagined songs and new visuals by Pasek and Paul. 5. Music and star power. In the music world, it's all about reinvention. Beyoncé and Taylor Swift are rumored to be collaborating on a deluxe track. Nothing confirmed yet, but insiders say it's genre blending. And rising talent Ethel Cain just announced her first arena tour. A major leap from underground cult icon to mainstream stardom. 6. Art meets film on the soundstage, blurring the line between cinema and ballet. In LA, American Contemporary Ballet is doing something never seen before, performing on a TV soundstage with immersive film-level sets. The show, called The Euterpides, features music from teen composer Alma Deutscher and choreography that blends storytelling, silence, and surrealism. It's giving Black Swan meets La La Land, and it might just be the future of how live performance is experienced. And this is your sports news update on Sunday, June 8th. From nail-biting finals to historic moments in tennis and college athletics, to the push for global sports expansion, let's dive in. 1. Horse racing, Belmont Stakes recap. Starting in horse racing, the Belmont Stakes saw Sovereignty seal a decisive victory, confirming its dominance after also winning the Kentucky Derby. This rematch with journalism ended in a repeat triumph, solidifying Sovereignty's status as a top contender for the upcoming Triple Crown, sports.yahoo.com. 2. Tennis, French Open final. In tennis, 21-year-old Coco Gauff captured the women's singles crown at Roland Garros, defeating Aryna Sabalenka in an electrifying 3-set final. It's her second Grand Slam and first on clay, making her the youngest American to win Paris since Serena Williams in 2002. And Wikipedia.org, +1. Times of India, indiatimes.com +1. 3. Soccer, UEFA Nations League final. In international soccer, Portugal edged out Spain on penalties in the UEFA Nations League final at Munich's Allianz Arena. After a 2-draw draw, including a Ronaldo equalizer, Portugal triumphed 5-3 in the shootout, inspiring exuberant celebrations across the country. tntsports.co.uk. 4. UFC 316 Women's Bantamweight title. Over to MMA, Kayla Harrison claimed the UFC Women's Bantamweight title at UFC 316, submitting Juliana Pena in just the second round. With 2 Olympic gold medals and a PFL title already under her belt, Harrison's rise is cemented. But fans are buzzing about a potential showdown with former champ Amanda Nunes. MMania.com +1, CBSSports.com +1. 5. MLB, Rays honor Longoria and win. In MLB action, the Tampa Bay Rays honored franchise legend Evan Longoria before defeating the Miami Marlins 5-4 on June 7th. With their fifth straight win, the Rays tied a team record, and the celebration highlighted Longoria's enduring impact on the club. timesofIndia.indiatimes.com. Meanwhile, Matt Chapman's status is still uncertain for tonight's Giants-Braves game, following a walk-off heroics last night. But fans are watching his injury report closely. timesofIndia.indiatimes.com. 6. NFL and college, legal and pay settlements. In college football news, a groundbreaking $2.8 billion settlement now permits schools to pay athletes directly for name, image, and likeness, transforming the NCAA landscape. This includes back pay for players from the 2016 to 24 generation and sets new revenue models for schools and athletes alike, theintelligencer.net. In the NFL, Giants fans are gearing up, with rookie Russell Wilson and top O-line mentor Laramie Tunsil, while Marshawn Lattimore faces scrutiny and talk swirls of contract resets for Drake London and Rashawn Slater. Hogshaven.com. 7. Basketball NBA Europe expansion. In global hoops, the NBA Europe initiative gained momentum with plans for a 14-16-team competitive model across Europe. Featuring promotion relegation like European soccer, cross-continental matchups, and preseason games, this could reshape basketball's global footprint, especially if cities like London and Manchester are included. Talksport.com. 8. Other stories and highlights. 1. College World Series bound. Arizona beats North Carolina 4-3 in the Chapel Hill Super Regional, clinching their 19th CWS trip. abcnews.go.com. FC Barcelona's women's team claimed the Copa de la Reina, powered by striker Claudia Pina's brace. That's a wrap for today's rundown. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, stay connected. We are the Rundown today, and until next time, take care and keep the conversation going.